Denmark to have world's highest retirement age. This is breakingnewsenglish.com. Higher rates of longevity are pushing up ages of retirement. In line with this, the Danish government has just announced it will raise the retirement age for its citizens from 67 to 70 by the year 2040. In so doing, Denmark's workers will have the world's longest wait before they can retire. Denmark said the new law was necessary to keep pace with increasing life expectancy. However, Jesper Rasmussen, a trade union leader in Denmark, expressed his consternation at the government's move. He said, "Denmark has a healthy economy and yet the EU's highest retirement age." He added, "A higher retirement age means that workers will lose their right to a dignified senior life." There is a precedent for the retirement age being 70. The world's first case was in Germany in 1881. It set the age at 70, before reducing it to 65 in 1916. Many countries followed suit and incorporated their own ages for workers to retire with a state pension. The USA first adopted a retirement age in 1935. It was set at 65. The USA Today website reported that in America, the retirement age was also steadily creeping up. It wrote, "The upward trend is slow, but striking." In 1994, the average man worked to age 61, while the typical woman clocked out at 59. Americans are living longer and working longer. China has also announced an increase, to be rolled out over the next 15 years. Thank you for listening to breakingnewsenglish.com. Scientists find why most ginger cats are male. This is breakingnewsenglish.com. Scientists have unraveled a long-standing mystery about the feline world. Geneticists from Kyushu University in Japan have discovered why 8 out of 10 ginger cats are male. Dr. Hiroyuki Sasaki discovered that a mutation in the X chromosome is responsible for a previously unknown orange gene. Dr. Sasaki said, "Identifying the gene has been a long-time dream, so it's a joy to have finally cracked it." The gene is responsible for pigmentation in the skin of animals. Male mammals have an X and Y chromosome. If the male cat's X chromosome has the gene, it will be a ginger. Because a female cat has 2 X chromosomes, the gene needs to be present in both for the cat to be orange. This is less likely to happen. Dr. Sasaki and his colleagues' research has been published in the journal Current Biology. In the study, researchers analyzed the DNA of 18 cats. 10 of the cats had ginger fur. The researchers found that all of the ginger cats had a gene mutation called ARHGAP36. The non-ginger cats did not have this. Dr. Sasaki said cat lovers associated fur color with personality traits. He wrote, "Many cat owners swear by the idea that different coat colors and patterns are linked with different personalities. There's no scientific evidence for this yet, but it's an intriguing idea, and one I'd love to explore further." He said ginger cats may share particular behavioral characteristics because most of them are male. Thank you for listening to breakingnewsenglish.com. Animal puppets walk 20,000 kilometers for climate action. This is breakingnewsenglish.com. A 20,000-kilometer walk from Central Africa to the Arctic Circle has started in Congo. The epic trek is to raise awareness of the climate crisis. The journey will take over 4 months. It is called the herds. A herd is a large group of animals. The hundreds of creatures in this project are life-sized puppets. They include lions, zebras, wildebeest, monkeys, giraffes, and baboons. More than 2,000 people will be trained to make more puppets, all from recyclable materials. The herd's organizers said the walk symbolizes the flight of animals from climate disaster. A spokesperson said, "The herds is public art and climate action on an unprecedented scale. It's an ambitious coming together of culture and climate." The animal puppets from the herds will visit more than 20 cities across the continents of Africa and Europe, including Casablanca, Madrid, Paris, London, and Stockholm. The final event will be inside the Arctic Circle in August. Each city will host street performances that focus on how we can help Earth. Alistair Scott of the Global Rewilding Alliance said, "The herds is going to reach millions of people and bring the fierce, exciting beauty of nature right onto the streets and into people's lives." The UK Peatland Programme said, "The herds is a stunning representation of the twin crises of climate change and biodiversity loss, and the journey we must all make towards a brighter future." Thank you for listening to BreakingNewsEnglish.com.
Tourist arrested for visiting forbidden Indian island. This is BreakingNewsEnglish.com. Indian police have arrested an American tourist for allegedly travelling to a remote island to visit one of the world's most isolated tribes. The island, North Sentinel, is part of the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago in the Bay of Bengal, around 1,200 kilometres east of the Indian subcontinent. It is approximately 60 square kilometres in size. North Sentinel is a protected area and home to the Sentinelese people, an indigenous tribe who have fiercely defended their isolation from the outside world. The tourist made the prohibited journey to the island. He did not make contact with the islanders, but he did leave a can of Diet Coke and a coconut. He could face up to 5 years in prison. The Indian government has barred outsiders from visiting North Sentinel Island. This is to protect the unique Sentinelese way of life. It is also to shield the inhabitants from modern illnesses. A spokeswoman for a non-profit group that protects isolated tribes said, "It's very well known that uncontacted peoples have no immunity to common outside diseases like flu or measles, which could completely wipe them out." Survival International said the Sentinelese are the most isolated indigenous people in the world. In the past few decades, the islanders have killed several people who have attempted to visit the island. The recently arrested tourist described himself as a thrill seeker.
Scientists say the egg came before the chicken. This is BreakingNewsEnglish.com. One of life's greatest mysteries may finally have been solved. Scientists believe they have unlocked the conundrum of the age-old question of whether the chicken or the egg came first. This problem has baffled great minds for centuries. However, researchers from the University of Geneva believe they have cracked this philosophical mystery. They suggest the egg came first. The scientists studied a tiny marine organism called Chromosphaera perkinsii. This single-celled species dates back over 1 billion years. The researchers found it can form multicellular structures which are similar to animal embryos. This means there was no need for a prehistoric chicken to lay an egg. Researcher Maureen Olivetta told Nature Journal that Chromosphaera perkinsii was first discovered in 2017 off the coast of Hawaii. She said it has offered many insights into ancient life forms. She said, "It's fascinating that a species discovered so recently allows us to go back in time 1 billion years. The researcher suggested that the genetics behind egg fertilization and embryonic development were present before animal life existed. This means nature could have created eggs long before evolution invented chickens. A more straightforward answer to the chicken and egg problem is that chickens came into existence 10,000 years ago, whereas eggs have existed for millions of years. Thank you for listening to BreakingNewsEnglish.com. Man briefly swallowed by humpback whale. This is BreakingNewsEnglish.com. A pack rafter had a lucky escape earlier this week after ending up in the jaws of a whale. Adrian Semencas, 23, was paddling through the icy waters of Patagonia, Chile, when an enormous humpback whale emerged from the deep and engulfed him and his inflatable raft in its mouth. Luckily for Mr. Semencas, the esophagus of a humpback can only stretch to a diameter of 40 centimeters and is ordinarily the width of a human fist. No sooner had Semencas been gulped up by the humpback than he was spat out into the choppy Southern Ocean. Semencas' father captured the whole horrifying incident on video. He said, "Suddenly, I saw Adrian emerge from the waves, along with what looked like a gigantic animal." Mr. Semencas recounted his terrifying ordeal to journalists back on dry land. He said, "I felt something hit me from behind. All this happened in a second. Something dark blue or white enveloped me, and a slimy texture brushed my face." He continued, "I started to sink, and I just closed my eyes, expecting an impact. I was surrounded by water. I realized that I was in something's mouth and I had been eaten." He added, "I felt like I was in a whirlpool, spinning around." The Guardian newspaper reported, for a few fleeting moments, Adrian's fate was in the jaws of the 40-ton mammal. Adrian said his close encounter would not deter him from future rafting outings. Thank you for listening to BreakingNewsEnglish.com.